Hey everybody, Phreak here, bringing you another audio commentary for WCReplays.com. This is a game from myself, from the Pro Ladder, and it's one, probably of one of my favorite games that I played during this ladder. It was a really interesting game. There is a boring part in the middle of it where we might go up to 2x speed, but regardless, get this to the 15-second mark with the 1x speed. I'm going to be going over all the things that I do in this game. A lot of this was brought up because of Lotto's last audio being a live audio, and I thought about how much fun those were when I did them myself, but in recent times when I tried to do them, I would lose so often that I would get pissed off that my audio would be fucking, God, I hate human, God, fucking imbalance. So I decided that I'd do one of my own games from fairly recent memory and just talk about what I've done. So 15 seconds, 1x speed. I am P5K, which is short for Phreak 5000. Which is just a name I decided to come up with on a whim while playing Counter-Strike, which is most of what I've been doing for the last year and a half or something like that. It's why I'm really bad at Warcraft now, primarily. But, you know, StarCraft 2 is going to come out, and I'm going to rule the world, so all's well. Anyway, so 15 seconds, 1x speed, my point of view. We're not going to turn off Fog of War, we're not going to talk about the human, we're going to talk about my decision-making, the mistakes I ended up making, stuff like that. So 15 seconds, 1x speed. If you're not there yet, just pause this commentary, get yourself there. And before we start, quick shout out to, and I've already forgotten your screen name and I'm not going to fish it up, but it's like Samurai Warrior or something, with like the I being a 1 or something like that. And it's this guy on YouTube who's been uploading WCR commentaries. So if you want, like if you actually search the name Phreak on YouTube, you'll find a couple of these commentaries. And a lot of these are from old patches, and this guy's been uploading old patch commentaries onto YouTube, and I think it's phenomenal. So you're probably listening to this, and I thank you with all my heart. Here is your shout out. Thank you for doing this. It's a very kind service of you. That's, I think, like the second shout I've ever done in commentary. So, like, you know, this guy is awesome. By the way, D-Boss is a noob, and let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, go. So 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, so you notice right away what I've done with this build order is I sent the first wisp out of my Tree of Life over to build this Ancient of War here. At the same time, I pulled one of the wisps out of my Entangled Gold Mine and had that one build a Moonwell. Now, a couple things to note about my base build and whatnot is I'm building my altar on the right-hand side because it's closer to the creeps, and now there are a lot of good players who don't do this, and I'm sure that they have their own reasons in terms of their base build, in terms of having a good, successful base build for doing this. However, to me, there's a couple things that I want in my base. Number one, I want my altar to be close to this creep camp so I can get it done sooner. It's just a valid thing to do. Secondly, I want to have my moonwells and stuff, if I can, towards the back, so that I have the sort of defensible position. If I get pushed or rushed or whatever, you know, I can easily heal up my hero, you know, from all one spot. And additionally, like if I get tower rushed, for example, he can't kill my moonwells, he'll be tower rushing the other side of my base primarily. Usually people don't run up and then run to the right of your base and then go up from there. Some do as a choice of countering a base build, but primarily having important buildings sort of sequestered off is pretty useful. It allows me to build an Ancient of War, or at least place an Ancient of War, and lowers off to the left and protect my base that way. And we'll see that my base isn't really going to completely play out in that manner, but it's just, you know, it's just where I'm putting my buildings. This way I also have room for an Ancient of Lore in the back here, right above my Tree of Life, or a shop. I believe I also have room to the right of my Tree of Life. If I built my base correctly, I might have room to the right here for a lore or a shop as well. And again, these aren't things that are actually happening as part of my base build as the game plays out, but it's just things that happen. Now what you see right here is I'm going for this peasant real quick, is I want to focus it down. You see that I clicked it and checked his HP, and now the Ancient of War goes back down to fight these null assassins off. You notice my archer's just going to chase that one down. There's enough damage, it dies. But now you notice the Ancient of War is going for these assassins first, which is really what I want done, because I get the damage type bonus there, and you notice that I get, you know, a lot of damage. What I should have done is actually unfocused my Warden for a second and allowed the Ancient of War to hit it one more time. The maximum damage it's even going to do to these guys is, I believe, 72 damage. I'll redo the math later for you guys, but, you know, point is, whatever, it wasn't very dangerous. Or, I mean, I could have basically saved some time letting the Ancient of War hit that and keep going. What I am doing here, though, is I'm moving the Ancient of War, attacking the creep, moving the Ancient of War some more. I make sure not to do enough damage to steal the creep kills, because that would just be all kinds of terrible. I do notice that my opponent has, in fact, been Ancient of War creeping. Ancient of War creeping, militia creeping. And I managed to lose this wisp that I try to detonate, and you see it moves right there on the left-hand side of the screen, but I don't manage to quite kill it. This wisp I'm going to run out of the way, and I'm just going to run all these wisps around, try not to get them picked off. This wisp I'm going to have to probably detonate, and yeah, there it is. So that's 2 wisps down, which I didn't really want to lose, but I'm not too worried about it. You'll notice with the rest of my build order, however, I used that repair wisp to put up a Hunter's Hall in this back corner, which is not likely to get scouted again. There's the detonate. I managed to pick off that water metal. So that's one of the good things about having wisps around, is you can detonate and give yourself experience, and you never know when getting level 3 might be a big deal for you. Now, one thing that happens here is I somehow managed to stop my archer and turn it around and have it die. I'm not really sure what I did to make that happen. I just know it died, and I somehow managed to give it that command. So that was unfortunate, but you notice I'm just putting up a second Ancient of War. I'm replacing that one archer and having a second archer instead. I've also got another Moonwell coming up, and this is pretty important. I'm going to have 40 max food, and I managed to grab the Boots of Speed, which is actually, I managed to not grab the Boots of Speed because the shop didn't acquire in time, or it just wasn't ready yet. Now I grabbed the Boots of Speed, and now I have the ability to chase down his heroes and whatnot, all that I want. And I noticed that the first time around he did not pick up dust, and now I can check on the Archmage at any given time and also see if he has dust. Now I haven't yet, but you can see right here that I'm just going for the weak footman right here, and I've got this archer here helping me out. That's going to be some free damage, and I'm spending a lot of hit points. I'm taking a lot of damage harassing these footmen, and that's not a big deal for me because again, it's Secret Valley, and that water metal actually times out right before I can detonate it. So that's some missed experience and some lost gold. But it's Secret Valley. There's health fountains around and whatnot. I'm not really worried about it. Now right here I have a wisp that's going out to scout. I don't know if you saw, but I had a little mini-map ping on the bottom left of the mini-map, which was my wisp having a shift-clicked rally point to scout. So that's not a very big deal, but it's something that's going to kind of, that may play in to your games, it may not, whatever. But I'm making Huntresses. This is a pretty key point. I'm spamming at Huntresses right now. You can see I've got double Ancient of War, massing Hunts, 27 of 40 food, and my Warden's healed up, I think, sufficiently for me. If we take off Fog of War real quick, we see that the human is creeping pretty defensively. Now, I have made a mistake in not keeping track of my opponent. I didn't put a wisp up to check if he was expanding, or to put anything in to check if he was teching or anything. So now I see that he is in fact teching, and you notice that I cancel Huntresses, and I start taking right away tier 2. Now he's a good half tier ahead of me, but I can do some damage here. He simply hides his Archmage, unfortunately. I didn't buy Dust because he didn't have the Cloak of Shadows the first time around, but I'm just going to simply chase down this footman, do some damage here, and you notice this footman has 2 HP, and he's like, alright, that's going to die, so whatever. I hide the archer because I know it's not going to be in any danger. There's another Shadow Strike, just get a little bit more damage out there, and what I do is I just Shadow Strike and instantly spam right-click on the hero, because the second that Shadow Strike thing actually goes off, I'll actually be able to swing my blade at that hero and do some more damage there. So it's just, it's a little bit of extra damage I could do to the Archmage. You notice he's down below 200 HP, and that's just simply from 3 Shadow Strikes and 3 swings, and it works out pretty well for me. So I'm trying to keep track of his army movements, and I see that his footmen have run away, and I'm pretty secure moving my archer away. You see I click it once, I don't move it just yet. Now you can see I have this this wisp at the back of this left-hand side expansion, and I can easily see if these creeps wake up. Now I don't believe it's in range of being attacked when the creeps wake up. They're not going to be like, oh my god, a wisp, attack. But I will know if anything's going on. So, whatever, you can do that on most maps, Lost Temple, Twisted Meadows, etc., etc. So I just have my rally, my actual rally point is to my other Huntresses. That's where I put my Ancient of War rally point, because the Huntresses are going to be sticking together for the most part. My Warden's going to be doing its own thing, primarily. I see my opponent, there we go, he's going to be another Shadow Strike. I managed to cancel off any of his healing effects, but a Paladin's going to be coming up shortly, which hurts a lot of my hero focus. Primarily, I think I shouldn't be harassing quite so much right now. I should be trying to get some extra creeping done, possibly with an uprooted Ancient of War, possibly with something else, but I do manage to force my opponent around a little bit. His Paladin, thankfully, is not out yet, and I actually managed to force him to buy a healing potion. But his Paladin eventually does come out, and it kind of screws, I wouldn't say screws me up, but it keeps me from being able to kill his hero anymore. You're going to see a Holy Light come off, and I'm like, okay, Paladin, screw that. No more right-clicking available. Level 1 water metals aren't very dangerous, and I can right-click him all the way and not really worry about them, especially because, again, it's Secret Valley. I can heal my hunts at any given time, as long as I pay attention to them. The archer over there you saw was sent to the fountain, healed up a little bit up to 196, and I pulled that one away. Again, I don't want to lose units when day breaks. I've lost way too many units that way, and a lot of novice